When you study history closely, you realize that the strategies used in ancient sieges are not just relics. They are practical lessons for anyone looking to fortify a homestead today. From timber palisades to stone ramparts, the ingenuity of our ancestors in defending their homes, villages and castles offers timeless insights. Before we dive into these strategies, make sure to subscribe to Battlefield of Survival, hit the like button and leave a comment with your favorite historical defense method, because today we're going straight into the mechanics of building resilient defenses that work. Understand how layered defenses were the backbone of survival. Ancient fortifications relied heavily on layers. A single wall was never enough. It was the combination of walls, ditches and barricades that stopped attackers. For a modern homestead, this translates into using multiple lines of defense. Start with a robust perimeter fence that defines your property and slows intruders. Behind it, a secondary barrier, such as thorny bushes or a trench, can buy you crucial seconds in case of a breach. Look to medieval Motte and Bailey castles for inspiration. The outer bailey slowed attackers, while the inner keep provided the final stronghold. For example, you could construct a raised platform or observation tower within your homestead to monitor threats and maintain a strategic advantage. Utilize natural terrain to amplify defensive strength. Historical sieges were often won or lost based on terrain. Elevation, rivers, and even dense forests were exploited to make approaches difficult. When securing a homestead, consider the natural features around you. A slope or hill can act as a defensive advantage, while water features can form natural barriers. Planting dense, thorny hedges along accessible paths serves the same function as ancient abatis, slowing intruders while remaining low maintenance. Even a small creek can be converted into a defensive moat with proper diversion, demonstrating how historical ingenuity can be applied with limited resources today. Build walls and barricades with multiple materials for resilience. Ancient engineers rarely relied on a single material for their walls. Stone, wood, earth, and even packed sand were combined to create walls capable of withstanding battering rams and fire. For modern homesteads, a combination of timber fencing reinforced with earth berms or stone foundations adds resilience. Logs stacked vertically can absorb impact better than thin planks, while sandbags or earth-filled barrels behind the wall provide extra shock absorption. Think of a Viking ring fortress. Timber walls backed by earth mounds allowed defenders to resist sieges for extended periods. This principle applies perfectly to contemporary homestead security. Incorporate defensive features that control movement. Historical fortresses often featured narrow gates, winding entrances, and obstacles that forced attackers into predictable paths. This control of movement allowed defenders to concentrate their efforts. For a modern homestead, a similar approach is effective. Use gates that funnel visitors along a single monitored path. Position barriers that force anyone approaching your property to slow down or expose themselves to observation. Even simple features like staggered gates, angular fences, or uneven terrain can replicate the defensive control seen in ancient forts. A well-planned entrance can double the effectiveness of your security measures without excessive investment. Design elevated positions for observation and range advantage. Towers, battlements and parapets dominated ancient defensive architecture because height provides control. From a modern perspective, any elevated platform or lookout point gives early warning of potential threats. Even a modest tree platform or reinforced roof deck provides a vantage point to monitor surroundings. This allows you to respond proactively rather than reactively. Historically, archers and watchmen stationed at high points could stop entire siege advances before attackers reached the walls. Translating that to a homestead, even simple measures like motion-activated lights, cameras or lookout platforms serve the same purpose. Maintaining situational awareness. Implement redundancy in every aspect of defense. Ancient fortresses rarely depended on a single gate, wall or weapon. They layered defences so that if one failed, others would continue the defence. Apply the same mindset today. Combine fencing with barriers, lighting, surveillance and natural obstacles. Even household items can be integrated for contingency, reinforcing doors with heavy timber, creating hidden storage for supplies, or maintaining secondary exit routes. Redundancy doesn't just protect your homestead, it buys you time to react, regroup, and adapt. History shows us that attackers rarely succeed when multiple layers of defense are in place. Prepare for prolonged challenges like ancient sieges. Sieges often lasted weeks or months, requiring careful preparation of food, water, and shelter. While a modern homestead may not face medieval armies, the principle still applies. Stockpiling essentials, maintaining energy and water reserves, and having sheltered spaces that can withstand prolonged exposure are critical. Even temporary fortifications like sandbags or modular barriers allow you to respond dynamically to threats. Ancient defenders survived because they prepared for extended engagement, and applying this foresight ensures your homestead can endure unexpected emergencies. Integrate mobility and adaptability in your defences. Finally, ancient strategists understood the value of mobility. Siege engines, patrols and hidden weapons allowed defenders to adapt to changing circumstances. On a modern homestead, keep tools, ladders or modular barriers that can be moved or adjusted as needed. This flexibility allows you to respond to new threats or change defensive layouts over time. Static defences are predictable. Adaptable setups increase your survival margin significantly. Building resilient defences for your homestead doesn't require replicating an entire medieval fortress, but studying and applying ancient siegecraft offers practical, actionable lessons that stand the test of time. Layered defences, terrain advantage, material diversity, controlled movement, elevation, redundancy, preparation, and adaptability form the core principles that can transform any property into a secure, resilient stronghold. If you found these strategies valuable, make sure to subscribe to Battlefield of Survival, leave a like, and drop a comment sharing which ancient defensive technique you'd implement first. Share this video with fellow history buffs and survival enthusiasts so we can keep the knowledge alive and practical. And